1, 2 et 3.
Gertrude Stein, Cole Porter, Ernest Hemingway. Just a few of the thousands of Americans who've come to Paris, who've lived here, who've loved here, and indeed drunk here. Today, Passport TV is going to take you to one of the city's best kept secrets. We're off to the Ritz Paris, and we're off to the Bar Hemingway. Colin, the Times has called this bar one of Paris's best kept secrets, and the accolades from Forbes and Le Figaro. Can you tell me what's so special about the Hemingway?
Passion. This is not a theme bar. This is not a bar where there are rifles up on the wall that nobody knows where it came from. Everything we see, whether it's the Corona portable typewriters, which were the laptop of the period for a war correspondent, the gramophones that we have in here, everything is real on the walls. So it's not a bar with Hemingway written up there, it really is. When somebody usually says to me, who's the most important person ever in this bar, I usually reply, well, you. Yes, I've served my Batmen, I've served my captains of USS Enterprises, my James Bonds, and I've served certain heroes. And I get an immense kick out of it. I remember once, actually, a small little anecdote. I had a James Bond in the bar, and I go over to Mr. Bond and I say, good evening, Mr. Bond. And he says, good evening, Colin. I said, what can I do for you today? And he says, something dry. I said, vodka-tini? He said, that would be perfect. And I left, did it, served it. The film was in my head, nobody else's. But I felt as if I was, for a brief second, a real bartender, well, I am a real bartender, but a real bartender in a film with James Bond. This is the driest martini in the whole wide world. You take that much gin, a bit more, you whisper vermouth. Slightly mix it. No calories. The cocktail of the day is ridiculous. Who's it for, the cocktail of the day? Is it an aperitif cocktail, a digestive cocktail? A lunchtime digestive aperitif or a dinner time? Is it for men? Is it for women? Is it for 20-year-old men, 40-year-old men, 50-year-old men, and the same thing? So the psychology of cocktails is all about looking at the person. Who is the person in front of me? What is their objective as far as their drinking is concerned? Because it is extremely rare that someone will come into a cocktail bar, because they're thirsty.
Oh, I'd love you to make me a cocktail. I'm guessing when I walked in you did that little visual interview. So what can you tell me about me, and what can you tell me about the kind of cocktail I'd like and what you're going to make?
You're on duty, as it were. You're working. And so you would like a cocktail that has a certain power, but is a long drink cocktail that at the same time gives you a taste of the wood of this Hemingway Bar, France. Calvados is what I'm going to work with.
My favorite.
Here we have a beautiful tumbler, refrigerated to minus 18.3, slowly warming up. Little bit of sugar, I call it a teaspoon, probably a teaspoon and a half. Fresh, not fresh, this is Calvados, 3 years old. Young Calvados, very beautiful, Le Comte.
I can already smell the apples.
It's fantastic. It's from Coquinvilliers. I have fresh mint here. Put that in there. Now I'm not muddling, as you notice. I am just making sure that the leaves are in contact with the Calvados.
So you don't need to bruise the word?
Yeah, you don't need to bang it to bits and hammer all life out of it.
Right.
Just make sure that it starts cooking in there.
Yeah.
Then we add a few ice cubes with my special tool.
That's apple juice?
Apple juice clarified. Now people say, why do you use cheap clarified apple juice? Because I want my cocktail to feel as if you're swimming through a beautiful lagoon underwater, and I want you to see through the cocktail. Now I'm going to add lovely champagne.
Wow.
3 fingers. The more respect you put into the cocktail that you make, I tend to compare what we do to kabuki theatre. Everything you do must be beautiful. The respect that you put in will come out on the other side, just like the Japanese bartenders that have so much to teach us. Now I'm just going to stir slightly, not more. Why not more? Because I don't want the champagne, the gaz carbonique, to come out of there.
Yeah.
And then I finish just with a stick. So there we are, serendipity, France in a glass.
May I try it?
Absolutely, let's go for it. Let's
I'm
go
to
for
try
it.
it.
It's marvellous. See, that's when you don't need the stick. That's when I take out the stick.
Oh, that's delicious.
So you can actually enjoy.
Surgically removed.
Yes.
That is absolutely delicious.
As soon as you get to know everybody else in the bar, that's when you become a regular.
Fantastic. We've been talking to Colin Field at the Bar Hemingway in the Ritz Paris, and thank you very much. That's been an absolute delight.
Cut!